Hello everyone, my name is Aishwarya, working as an assistant professor in the department of CSC AIML, MLR Institute of Technology. Today, I am going to explain about what kind of data can be mined, data mining applications and types of data sets. Coming to first slide, what kind of data that can be mined? First of all, we need to know the data mining definition. So, the data mining is the process of extracting the useful information from large amount of data. It is a process of extracting useful information from large amount of data. Next, what kind of data that can be mined? So, data mining can be applied to any kind of data, such as data are meaningful for a target application. The most basic forms of data for mining applications are database data, relational database and transactional database. So, next, data mining can also be applied to other forms of data. For example, data streams, ordered or sequence data, graph and network data, spatial data, text data and multimedia data and World Wide Web. So, first one is database data. Database data is referred as, it is a stored information that is stored in the form of tables within a database management system. In this data is stored in the form of tables within a database management system. It is organized into rows and columns, making it easy to access, manage and analyze. Each row is a record and each column represented as field. Here in this database data, in each row is represented as record and each column is represented as field or attribute. Database data supports tasks like searching, updating and reporting. So, common examples include student records, employee database or sales data. It is widely used in business and educational and healthcare, etc. So, coming to example of database data, here I am representing one table. In this table, we are having 5 columns: student ID, name, age, marks and grade. So, each row represents a record. Each row represents a record and each column is represented as specific type of data, that is name, age, marks and grade. So, in this table, row represented a student record, column stores a specific type of data, that is name, age and marks and grade, etc. So, this kind of organized structured format is called as database data. Second one is relational database. A relational database stores the data in the form of tables and each table has a unique name. Each table contains columns called as attributes or fields and rows called as records or tuples. Every row represents a real world object like a student or product and it is identified by a unique ID like student ID. So, to design relational database, we often use an entity relationship ER model, which shows entities like students, courses and the relationship between them. So, example of relational database is, here I am considering student table and course table. So example of relational database, here I am considering student table and course table. In this student table, this table stores information about the students. So, in this table we are having 3 columns: student ID, name and age. Here student ID is represented as primary key. It uniquely identifies each student. So, next one is a course table. So, this table stores information about courses that students can enroll in. So in this table we are having 3 columns. First one is a course ID, second one is course name and student ID. Here course ID is a primary key. It uniquely identifies each student. So student ID in this table is a foreign key. So that links the courses to be students in the student table. So the relationship is the student ID in the course table links to the student ID in the student table. So showing which student is enrolled in which course. This is a simple relational database setup where the data is organized into relational tables using primary and foreign keys. This is about relational database. So third one is transactional database. So each transaction, each record in a transactional database captures a transaction such as customer's purchase, flight booking, or a user clicks on a web page. It is a transaction. So a transaction typically includes a unique transactional ID number. It is having unique transactional ID number and a list of items making up the transaction such as items purchased in the transaction. A transactional database may have additional tables which contain other information related to the transformation such as description, information about the salesperson or the branch and so on. This is about transactional database. So fourth one is a object relational database. An object relational database is a special type of database that combines features of both relational database and object relational database. So relational database which is used in tables, and object oriented database which is uses classes and objects. It extends the relational model by applying or by allowing complex data types like images, audios, video and customer objects instead of just simple data like numbers and text. This is about object relational database. So example of object relational database, imagine a product table. So in this product table we are having 3 columns. First one is a product ID and product name and specifications of that object. So product ID, first name is laptop. These laptop specifications are RAM, SSD, CPU, so on. So second is a smartphone. These are the specifications of smartphone. So here specifications is a customer object with multiple names and multiple values, not a just single number or text. This is possible in only object relational database. These specifications are not just a single number or text. This is possible only in object relational database. So this is about object relational database. So next, fifth one, temporal database. A temporal database is a type of database that stores time related data. This stores time related data. It includes timestamps like date and time to track changes over time, like when a record was created, updated, valid and etc. So this is about temporal database. So next one is a sequence database. A sequence database stores the data where the order of events occurs. It focuses on sequence of actions or events that happen over time. Each entry in a sequence database in a list of ordered events such as customer purchases, web clicks or biological data like DNA sequences. So for example of sequence database is customer ID. In this table we are having 2 columns. First one is a customer ID and sequence of purchases. This customer purchases first milk, then buy bread and then butter. So here each row shows the order in which a customer bought products. So this is about sequence database. So seventh one is a spatial data. Spatial data, also called as geospatial data. It refers to information about physical locations on the Earth surface. It includes coordinates and shapes, locations and relation between objects in space like cities, roads, rivers or buildings. This is about spatial data. So, 8th one is a flat file. A flat file is a plain text file. It is a plain text file that stores data in a simple way, simple tabular format like rows and columns, but without relationships, indexes or data types in a database. So, it is like an Excel sheet or .csv file, whereas all the data is saved in one table only. So, this is about flat file. Next topic is data mining applications. These are the following areas where data mining is widely used. In these areas, we are using data mining concepts. So, first one is a data mining in healthcare, in market basket analysis, in education industry and fraud detection and lie detection and banking sectors. In these areas, we are using data mining concepts. So, next topic is types of data sets. Data set is normally known as collection of data. Data set is normally known as collection of data and it is in the form of tables. So, first type of data set is categorical data set. First type of data set is categorical data set. A categorical data set consists of variables that represent categories or labels rather than numerical values. It represents only categories or labels rather than numerical values. These values indicates characteristic or grouping and can be nominal or ordinal. So, nominal also called as ordered data, ordinal also called as ordered data. So, for example, I am considering one table. In this table, we are having 4 columns. First one is a person and gender, marital status and educational level. These are variables: gender, marital status, educational level. These variables are categorical variables. This type of data set is called as categorical data set. Second one is a multivariate data set. So, a data set that contains multiple variables and multiple columns for each data point, each row. These variables can be numbers, categories or both. So, example of multivariate data set is, so in this table, I am considering 5 columns. First one is a day, temperature, humidity, wind speed and weather. So, each row has multiple variables like temperature, humidity, wind speed and weather. These variables describe different features of the weather. This multivariate dataset is to predict the weather or to study how weather conditions change together. This type of dataset is called as multivariate dataset. Third one is a correlation dataset. A correlation dataset is a dataset where you analyze how 2 or more variables relate to each other. So, for example, in this table, we are having 3 columns. First one is a student and study hours, marks scored. As study hours increase, marks scored also increase. This shows a positive correlation. Both variables, both go up together. So, considered as positive correlation. If one goes up and other goes down, it is a negative correlation. If they do not change together at all, so it is considered as no correlation. This type of data set is called as correlation data set. Fourth one is a numerical data set. So, a numerical data set contains data that is made up of only numbers. We can count, measure or do mathematical expression. So, like addition, subtraction, average and etc. So here I am considering one table: student, math score and science score and age. Here all variables, all values, scores and age are numerical. So here these variables, these values are in only numerical. So this type of data set is called as numerical data set. So fifth one is a bivariate data set. A bivariate data set is a data set that contains only two variables for each observation. The goal is to explore whether there is a relationship between these two variables only. So in other words, how one variable might affect the other. So for example, student, hour studied and test score. So hour studied variable is a independent variable, test score is a dependent variable. If hours studied is increases, test score also will be increases. So this relationship between two variables is called as bivariate. So this type of data set is called as bivariate data set. So sixth one is a file based data set. A file based data set is a data set that is stored in a file on a computer rather than in a database or cloud system. For example, .ppk file, .csv file, .text file, .pdf file, these are the example of file based data set. So second one is a web based data set. Seventh one is a web data set. A web data set is a collection of data that comes from or it is made available through the internet. It can be gathered from websites, APIs and social media or online databases. For example, e-commerce and Kaggle. These are the example of web data set. These are the types of data sets. First one is a categorical data set and multivariate data set and correlation data set and numerical data set, bivariate data set, file based and web data set.